Exposé et sur Steve Fossett. Il est aventurier et explorateur.
This is very important to me to do something that has never been done before and something that's difficult.
Il est né en 1944 et il meurt en 2007. Au début, il a fait des études à l'université. Après, il était devenu businessman et très riche. Il a commencé à faire des choses extraordinaires. Il a battu beaucoup de records mondiaux. Voici quelques exemples. Il nage de la France à l'Angleterre en 22 heures.
So Fossett heeded the advice of his ground controllers, who'd warned that crossing the southern Atlantic carried a real risk of ditching into the ocean. But Fossett's flight has set new solo ballooning marks for distance, 20,417 kilometres, and for time aloft alone, 12 days and 12 hours. The American adventurer hasn't definitely ruled out yet another attempt at the circumnavigation. With his track record, Steve Fossett will remain a hard man to keep down.
It's the 5th time Fossett has abandoned an around-the-world attempt. This time he made it halfway, setting a record for the longest ever solo balloon flight, 12 days and 13 hours after taking off from Northam, east of Perth. There's no word yet on whether Fossett will try again.
En 2002, il va autour du monde en montgolfière Spirit of Freedom tout seul, non-stop, en 2 semaines. Avant cet record, il a essayé 5 fois, mais sans succès. Il faisait naufrage toujours quelque part à cause de mauvais temps, de l'orage ou la tempête.
On his world record attempt to fly a balloon around the globe, Fossett launched his 55-metre tall balloon from Northam, east of Perth this morning. It's the 6th time the adventurer has made the attempt, his ground crew hailing today's launch the best yet. If successful, Fossett will spend the next few weeks in a cramped capsule, flying across 3 oceans, Chile, Argentina and South Africa.
Right now, I can tell you he's completely elated. So we're all pretty happy.
It's a very, very difficult flight. I hope he's going to succeed, but I think he's got a very good chance of it, but it's going to be hard.
Barring any problems, Fossett is expected to cross over the east coast of Australia
Stream
in the
winds,
next few
Fossett
days.
has made good time across the Indian Ocean. His balloon, Spirit of Freedom, has reached speeds of more than 300 kilometres an hour at an altitude of 9,000 metres. It's helped to put him 6 days ahead of schedule.
Still up in the air after completing his solo around-the-world flight. All day, the touchdown location has been shifting across the country, starting in the Nullarbor, then into South Australia. Tonight, Fossett is heading towards Queensland and a possible landing near the outback town of Birdsville.
It was a case of 6th time lucky. Chicago billionaire balloonist Steve Fossett finally realising his dream of the first solo circumnavigation of the world.
Yeah, I'm really delighted. I've wanted to do this for 10 years, and I've been working solidly on it for 6 years.
Fossett crossed longitude 117 degrees and into the record books at 9:40 last night Western Australian time. It was just as his mission control was holding a media conference. Fossett's balloon, the Spirit of Freedom, left Northam in Western Australia on the 19th of June. For the past 14 days, the high-tech balloon has flown around the world. The problem today has been how to get down, the weather forcing a change of plans to land in Western Australia.
With ballooning, there's no certainty, so we had plans on the way, and we're just following through on those plans.
But those plans kept changing. The Spirit of Freedom crossed the coast at Ceduna in South Australia just after 2 p.m. Its destination a landing at Woomera. But again, foul weather and high winds intervened.
Now, the winds down on the coastline are blowing 25, gusting to 35. totally impossible for landing.
The latest plan is for a night flight and a dawn landing, perhaps in Queensland. Wherever and whenever he lands, the successful circumnavigation has wiped out Fossett's failures. He's tried and almost died before, crash landing in both Russia and the Coral Sea. Fossett's fellow balloon tycoon, Sir Richard Branson, has paid tribute.
What he's accomplished has been nothing short of remarkable.
Even though he's not down yet, planning for Steve Fossett's next big adventure has already started. This time, a glider ride in the stratosphere.
En 2004, il va en bateau à la voile chaîne autour du monde, le plus rapide en 58 jours et 9 minutes. En 2005, il va seul autour du monde en planeur Global Flyer en 67 heures, 2 minutes et 48 secondes. Il vole non-stop et sans remettre du carburant.
In March 2005, Steve Fossett announced his intention to become the first man to circumnavigate the globe non-stop.
I hope to make it with no stops in under 80 hours.
The project is being sponsored by another record-breaking billionaire, Richard Branson.
Steve has not said exactly how much it was, but Global Flyer was a few $1 million.
This is very important to me, to do something that has never been done before, and something that's difficult. Not only from the endurance standpoint, but also from the technology that was required to build an airplane to do this specific task.
Global Flyer was designed by the world's leading experimental aircraft designer, Burt Rutan, whose successes also include the first privately funded spacecraft.
If you know Burt Rutan, who is a genius designer, you have to have a lot of confidence when Burt starts building something, it's going to fly. And it's going to fly successfully, it's going to fly safely.
When you're flying on a single tank of gas, you have to make every drop count, and Global Flyer is the most efficient plane ever built. Global Flyer is constructed out of graphite epoxy, a composite material which is very light but very strong, and is powered by a single, extremely efficient jet engine.
Burt Rutan, as the designer of this aircraft, and John Carco, who worked very closely on the design and saw it through, have produced a genius bit of work. They've produced all the elements of aviation in one aircraft. They've produced a combination of a high-altitude jet and a glider, and they've kept it very simple.
The airplane's in good shape. We've had a few things that we've been working on the past several weeks, so I look forward to having an airplane that is in top quality flying condition.
Fossett will have to spend up to 80 hours in a cockpit just over 2 meters long, consuming only diet milkshakes and grabbing a few moments sleep at a time. It may be the most expensive round-the-world ticket, but it is also the least luxurious. After waiting for the absolute perfect conditions, Fossett takes off from Salina Airfield in Kansas to start his epic journey. As Global Flyer takes off, fuel accounts for an incredible 85% of its weight. Although Fossett is alone in his cockpit, a team on the ground monitor every moment of his flight to ensure that the plane is always working at maximum efficiency. Flying at a speed of 274 knots or 500 kilometers per hour, Global Flyer keeps an altitude of around 14,000 meters, 500 meters above the height at which commercial jets cruise. Fossett continuously alters his course to take advantage of high-speed winds to maximize Global Flyer's efficiency. Thousands of support flew up there at Salina Airfield, Kansas, to welcome Fossett home, including the main money man, Richard Branson.
It was 85% fuel when it took off. And basically he had to turn it from being a high-altitude jet aircraft at one point of the flight to a glider when it came back down to Earth.
67 hours and 1 minute after takeoff, Fossett arrives back at Salina Airfield in Kansas, having travelled approximately 37,000 kilometres and with another world record to his name.
He's actually got more records now than any other human being who's ever been in the Guinness Book of Records. So he has the record for the most entries in the Guinness Book of Records.
En 2006, il bat le record absolu d'altitude en plein air. C'est le premier vol dans la stratosphère en plein air. Il arrive à environ 15 160 mètres de l'altitude, avec une température de 57 en dessous de 0. La durée est 4 heures et demie. Si haute dans la stratosphère, respirer n'est pas possible. C'est nécessaire de wear un presset suit. En 2007, il meurt dans un accident en avion aux États-Unis.